Hello everyone, I am Fpl Rondo and welcome back to the channel. What we're going to be looking at today is my game week 4 team selection. We're also going to be going over a live transfer for the first time this season. I've not actually had a chance to do one yet because last week I made a really early transfer, but this week I feel like it's the right time. All the Carabao Cup games have passed and luckily there's been no severe injuries that I'm currently aware of. So we're going to get into the transfer also later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's get right into this. Right guys, so this is my team selection for game week 4. As you can see, I am still running that 3-5-2 formation. I do think that is the most optimal formation still in the game, and with how many good midfielders there are currently, you can't ignore using 5 midfielders in the game currently. I do think 3-5-2 just brings the most balance and it gives you the best out of your team currently. Well, mine anyway, I do believe that is the case. But starting in goal, we have Onana of Manchester United against Arsenal. This is my first questionable decision, but I'm not willing to waste a transfer on my goalkeepers just yet. I'd rather wait until a wild card to get rid of a goalkeeper, just because I think there's more value in transfers in regard in outfield positions. So I'm a bit stuck here, but out of the 2 goalkeepers, and I was very 50-50 on this, I have gone for Onana. I do think that Arsenal Manchester United game will be quite end-to-end, and I think there's quite a lot of saves to be had in that game for Onana, fingers crossed anyway. It's probably not going to be a clean sheet for him, but it's the same for Turner, so it was just down to who I think is going to make the most saves, and in this situation I've gone for Onana, who does play for the better team as well in my opinion. Moving on to the defence now, and starting us off we have Ben Chilwell against Nottingham Forest at home. Now, I do think there is a high chance of a clean sheet here. I could be completely wrong, and Nottingham Forest have been scoring goals so far this season, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did let a goal slip. But we don't have Ben Chilwell for the defensive returns, like the clean sheets. We have him for that attacking output, because he has basically been playing in a very advanced position, basically in that left wing, for the last 3 game weeks. So hopefully he can keep that up and keep playing in those advanced roles, and the assists, the goals, they will come eventually. Obviously he is on set pieces as well, which does actually increases chances of an assist there as well. So it's just fingers crossed that he does get an attacking return, and if he does get a clean sheet alongside that, that's just an added bonus, and there should be some bonus points alongside that if so. Saliba of against Manchester United for Arsenal. This is similar to Onana. I'm very short on squad depth here because I do have Estepinian as well, who does have that Newcastle at home fixture, and they have been leaking quite a lot of goals to easier teams than Newcastle, so I'm not expecting Brighton to keep a clean sheet at all. But Arsenal against Manchester United, I think there's a slightly higher chance of a clean sheet, so that's why I've opted for Saliba over Estepinian, and that's sort of my mindset there. It could very well be a 0-0 game, but I do think it, as I said before, it will be quite an end-to-end one, and there is quite a lot of save opportunities. So depending on the goalkeepers, potentially this could be a clean sheet game if they're both on form, Ramsdale and Onana. We will just have to see. Usually these higher team fixtures like Manchester United versus Arsenal do tend to have 0-0s written all over them sometimes, because both teams are quite passive. But based off of Manchester United's fixture against Nottingham Forest scoring 2 goals in about 5 minutes, Arsenal will want to abuse that and take advantage of that weak Manchester United defence. And with Varane and Shaw out, I'm not too sure. But in regards to Saliba, I think they will have a slightly higher chance of a clean sheet over Manchester United, their opponents. We will just have to see, but I've got both bases covered, and if it is a 0-0, that's just an extra bonus for me. I've got Bayer of Burnley in that extra slot in defence, and don't worry, I'm not being an idiot here, that is just where my transfer will go in to slot in basically. I do have my transfer planned, as I said, and that will be happening at the end of the video, and you will see my transfer fit into that position. So if you have any guesses, put it in the comments below. You have your chance now. So in most circumstances, I'm not a big fan of playing players in my FPL team when they have fixtures against each other. But in moving into the midfield, that is more so the case here. I have Saka and Ødegaard against Rashford, but then I've also got the defensive issue of Saliba versus Onana. So this game, to me, currently is a bit of a lose-lose. I could slip Estepinian into that Saliba slot in defence just to sort of minimise the chance of that happening, and then I can sort of hope Estepinian keeps a clean sheet against Newcastle because I have none of their assets, and it could very well turn out better for me, and hope he gets an attacking return. But yeah, currently this Manchester United versus Arsenal fixture is a bit of a lose-lose, where if there's lots of goals and it's a high-scoring game, then my attackers will all get high scores, hopefully, but then my defenders lose out on clean sheet points, and that's 2 defenders for me in this position. But then reverse it, and then if my 2 defenders get clean sheets, then 3 of my attackers are blanking. So it's, again, as I said, it is a bit of a lose-lose for me. So I very well may slip Estepinian into that Saliba slot just to minimise the chances of that happening and causing an absolute catastrophe in my team. I will update you on Twitter if I do end up doing that move and substituting Saliba, just to basically cover all grounds in that situation. But hopefully we don't come to that, and but it very well might be the case. Moving around the midfield, obviously I've got Mbeumo and Eze alongside those players. Mbeumo against Bournemouth is a fantastic fixture, and hopefully he can keep that form up. Bournemouth at home is a fantastic fixture, and I would like to see him get a goal or 2 there, especially with being on penalties. Eze against Wolves, this might be his chance to start shining in that Crystal Palace team. He did come on in the Carabao Cup in the midweek fixture and did get an assist and apparently turn the game around. So hopefully he can keep that form rolling, get a bit of confidence up. And obviously he is on set pieces as well. So against Wolves, a free kick, a penalty, a corner could all result in an assist, a goal, etc. Hopefully we can get some points from him this week, because it has been quite sad to have him in my FPL team, to say the least. So with this good run of fixtures coming up, Eze, hopefully he gets a bit of confidence and starts his season off in the right way from now onwards. And as always, the strikers speak for themselves. Nicholas Jackson against Nottingham Forest, another great fixture for him. He did look a bit sloppy in that last fixture, so hopefully he can perform here. He was playing against Luton, so it was a bit surprising to see him play so bad after having such a good run in the games beforehand. But yeah, no, it might have just been a bad game for him. Hopefully he can keep it rolling. His stats are fantastic. He's getting so many shots, so many opportunities, and his positioning is great. So again, as I say every single week, I am very happy to have Nicholas Jackson in my team. And then Haaland himself, the captain against Fulham, he should be getting some goals here. Obviously missed a penalty in the last fixture he had against Sheffield United, and he only scored the 1 goal, so he might be wanting to get a bit of revenge on the Premier League as a whole. The robot returns, and hopefully against Fulham at home, that is a favourable fixture, and hopefully you can get a few goals there. And going on to the bench, we have Estepinian, as mentioned. He very well could come into that Saliba slot. The more I think about it, the more I am most likely going to do that, just because playing a Manchester United and Arsenal defender against Manchester United and Arsenal attacks just does not make sense to me. So it's a very 50-50 decision now, when originally I was like 80% stuck on Saliba. Yeah, it's like a 50-50 now as to whether I will play Estepinian over Saliba. So that will be announced on Twitter, as I said earlier, later. Closer to the deadline once this video is posted. João Pedro is the second option on the bench. Newcastle at home, and he's not playing much at all. So yeah, he's sort of fallen out of favour compared to other options in that Brighton team. So it's a no-brainer that he does get benched in this game week. Kabore against West Ham. I have tinkered with the idea of playing Kabore this week. It was a very slight thought, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. It's Luton against West Ham, who have actually been in great form and scored quite a few past Chelsea as well. So this could be quite a high-scoring game, and West Ham attackers are actually ones to look out for this week. So Jared Bowen especially is one that you should be eyeing up for your own FPL teams if you haven't got him already. Obviously Sterling as well, and other midfielders like Maddison are also being considered. So there's quite a lot of options this week. But yeah, West Ham, Kabore, it's a no for me. Just Luton defence isn't convincing enough just yet. Back of the bench for me. So moving on to my transfer decision now, and this is, as I mentioned, a defensive transfer. I was selling Bayer of Burnley. I know a lot of people are bringing in midfielders this week, the likes of Sterling, Maddison and Jared Bowen. I think all of them three I mentioned are fantastic picks for this game week onwards. But for me and my team specifically, I do need a defensive transfer because that's where all of my issues lie. I have decided to go for Destiny Udogie of Spurs just because I feel like his stats are fantastic. He's getting great game time. He is getting substituted a bit early, but he is coming off after 60 minutes every single game, which is fantastic. As I said, his stats are fantastic and his fixture run coming up is quite great. I'll get it up for you now. He is playing against Burnley and then Sheffield United in the next two fixtures. He does play Arsenal afterwards, but then after that you've got Luton, Fulham, Crystal Palace and Wolves all coming up in the near future as well across the next bunch of game weeks. So yeah, there is a lot to be happy about with Udogie, and I think the likes of Gusto with James coming back, Gusto's position is a bit at risk. I was considering him, but I've definitely decided to go away from that and go for Udogie. I think he's just the better pick, and for 4.6 million, he is a fantastic option in FPL. And I do believe, based off of rotation of fixtures, he rotates very well with Estepinian across the coming weeks as well. So that's all the more reason to want him in my FPL team. So I'm very happy with my decision there. So that's the video. I would like to thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. That would be very much appreciated. Have you made a transfer this week? Let me know in the comments below. Let me see who you are bringing in. That would be fantastic to see. I am excited for this game week. I'm not too sure why, but I do think I've got some good luck on the horizon because my season so far has not been ideal. I can sense a green arrow in the near future, even if it means I go down to 9 million and then come back up. It might be something like that, but no, I am quite optimistic for the coming game weeks. I do think there's some good luck on the horizon for me, and hopefully that does plan out as I expect. But yeah, no, thank you all again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.